thing is that our NCP, so our International School of Management, is based in Lyon. The students will be working between 3 and 5 days per week. So, obviously living in Europe is quite expensive. However, the French government does help students, international students, financially. They will have a student card from our school, which is officially linked to the government, with free drinks and beverages and snacks for the students.
Hi, I'm Phoebe. Today I have a special person with me, Mr. Darren, President of Order International School of Management, Lyon, France. Hi, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir. And how
Good.
about you?
I'm very good, thank you. Happy to be here.
Okay, so do you like the climate over here?
The climate's very warm. It's a bit humid today, but yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes. What do you think about our country?
I love the country, but it's so big.
Yeah.
For traveling, it can be a little bit difficult, but it's very good. Yeah, I love it.
Today's session is all about, we have so many Indian students studying over in your institution. So we have many questions today which is raised by our students. Can you please mention where is the location of institution?
Yes, of course. So our International School of Management is based in Lyon. Lyon is actually southeast of Paris. It's 2 hours on the train from Paris. It's the second largest economical city in France. One of the main reasons we chose to be in Lyon is because we're offering business courses, but also hospitality. And Lyon is known within France to be the capital of gastronomy and hospitality.
So does international students face any difficulties or obstacles while listening to the lecturers? And what is your opinion on that, sir?
Okay, so the international students, when they arrive, very few of them speak French. This is true. So we could imagine that they would have difficulties understanding the lecturers, the professors. However, having said that, all of the courses and the programs that we deliver and offer are in English. Now, our teachers are bilingual, so they speak English as good as I do, but also they're bicultural, which means they've lived in another country for some years, which means they're very confident and they understand that the way of talking to somebody from a foreign country, even if the common language is English between the student and of course the professor, they realise that they have to articulate more, they have to slow down a little bit. We've had no problems at all with students understanding.
What is the duration of the courses?
Yes, generally speaking, the students will be working between 3 and 5 days per week. So Monday to Wednesday or Monday to Friday. They will start at 8:45 in the morning and finish at 4:30 in the afternoon. So it's quite a condensed course.
Are there any chances for UG candidates after their job, when they get job immediately after completing their courses?
Yes, of course, it's quite possible for students to get a job once they've completed their studies. I actually say that students should be starting to look for a job well before they finish their studies. And we've actually had already students that have been offered full-time job positions, which they've obviously said, no, thank you, but no, thank you. But once I've completed my studies, then I will join your company. So it's definitely a possibility.
So now how much a student should spend, or what will be his or her expenses while living in France?
Okay. Obviously living in Europe is quite expensive. I would imagine that you'd be looking at an absolute minimum of sort of 600 to 700 euros is needed per month. Now, bearing in mind that the accommodation is going to be what's costing the most for students. However, the French government does help students, international students, financially and gives them some money each month to help pay their rent. Obviously, they have their food expenditure, transport, but equally they will have a student card from our school, which is officially linked to the government, which means that they will have discounts on all of these things. So the government in France has actually tried to make it easier for foreign students coming to France. But as a rule of thumb, I would say 600 to 700 euros per month.
I think actually the student card will be much helpful for students.
Yes, they actually get a great discount on transportation, even food outlets, even McDonald's is cheaper for students. And then obviously swimming baths, if they go to museums, the cinema, so everything is cheaper for foreign students.
So could you please elaborate the facilities which is provided by your institution?
Yes, of course. So in actual fact, we have facilities that are given on campus and off campus. On campus, obviously within the school itself, we have a canteen where people can actually go and eat with free drinks and beverages and snacks for the students. We have computer rooms where people can go and work quietly. We have a chill room where people can actually just sort of play games or sit down and read and just sort of chill out. Off campus, some of the things that we are offering are things like accommodation. Obviously accommodation is quite expensive in France, typically between 400 and 600 euros per month. So we're actually offering accommodation through the school, which are buildings that we own. And we have accommodation for boys, accommodation for girls. And this is half price. So you're looking at somewhere around sort of 200, 250 euros per month. So it's a lot cheaper for students. So I would say the biggest facility that we offer is the service. When students arrive in France, we will take their hand, show them to their temporary sort of accommodation, and then we will show them around the school. They have a guided visit of the city of Lyon. We will set up their social security for them, open the bank account for them, validate their visa for them. So we're really trying to make it very simple and easy for international students coming to France.
Sir, is it easy to get PR after the completion of studies for international students?
Yeah.
Please elaborate about that.
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's totally feasible, and France as a country and the government are encouraging students at an MBA level to come to France, and those that wish to stay do have this opportunity. So firstly, there are a couple of ways you can do this as a student. Either you can apply for a stay-over visa or a job-seeking visa. Most international students would be able to stay over in France for 1 year. Indian students, however, it's 2 years. And that's because of the good diplomatic relations that we have between France and India. But having said that, I really do believe that it's easier to start looking for a job, because you will need a job to be able to ask for permanent residency. So obviously if they start looking for a job very early on, even within the first year, they can start looking and be sponsored by the company to finish their studies and then to go on to having a full-time job. Once they have a full-time job, then after a 5-year period, then they can ask for permanent residency. So they would have a resident card that would be renewed each year, but after 5 years they can ask for a permanent residency, and then the cards are usually for 5 or even 10 years.
So how is the exam conducted in Aura, and how is the mark they evaluate for students?
Okay, so basically there are 2 types of exams that each student would have. They will have ongoing exams, which generally are a minimum of 1 per quarter. They will have also marks that will be given for projects that they've been working on, and then at the end of their academic year, and once they have completed their internship, they will have to do a presentation explaining the internship, how it went and what they have learned, and this will be presented to a jury, and the jury will decide the final marks.
So can we expect scholarship for March 2024 intake, and what will be the amount? Can you please tell me?
Yeah, okay. Concerning the scholarships, for 2024, at this point in time, I can't guarantee that we will have those. However, what I can say is that definitely for the October intake of 2023, we have the possibility of scholarships, which are 2,000 euros. This may be reconducted next year, but certainly for this year in October, 2,000 euros is the amount of scholarship. Now, if a student does qualify for a scholarship, then it's not just for the first year. If they are studying for 3 years, they would have this scholarship for the 3 years. So each year they would have this scholarship of 2,000 euros.
So what about the vacation for international students?
Okay, students generally within the school will have a summer break, depending on when they actually start in the school, because we have actually 4 intakes per year. But obviously they have a summer break, there are Christmas breaks, and in France we have lots of bank holidays, so they'll have lots of long weekends too. Generally speaking, the summer break would be between 2 to 4 weeks maximum.
Okay, so students will be more happy to get more holidays?
Yes, well in France we do have a lot of holidays. We work hard, but we have a lot of holidays.
Sir, is it confirmed that our NCP certification will get for Aura in this year? because this question was repeated by many questions over here. So whenever they come to get admission, they will ask whether RNCP is there or the certificate will they provide.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on that? Can you please elaborate?
Absolutely, yeah. If I just explain a couple of things. The first thing is that RNCP, a lot of people ask, do you have RNCP? Do you have it? And I say, yes, but just tell me, what is it? And most people don't know. What people will relate the RNCP to, especially here in India, is that if a school has RNCP, then this means that if a student is studying for a master's degree, an MBA, then they would be able to ask for a stay-over visa or a job-seeking visa, which is quite true, okay? Although, as I may have explained earlier, it is much more easy for a student to find a job before asking for a stay-over visa, okay? However, to answer your question directly, when you create a school in France, especially if it's a school like our school, which is actually dependent and linked to the French Minister of Higher Education, you cannot have RNCP for the first 2 years. Now, this is because the state, the government, wish to check up on you, audit you, make sure that everything is going fine. It so happens that our 2 years is October 2023, this year. So we will have RNCP. So any student that will come from the month of October, and indeed students that have already started and are in the school, because we will have RNCP this year in 2023, all the students will be able to benefit from us having RNCP, and for perhaps more so the Indian students being able to ask for that stay-over visa.
Sir, could you please explain what makes Aura unique while comparing to other institutions?
Okay. In France, we have many good institutions. What I think makes us a little bit different is our modern methods of teaching. The programs that we have put into place were actually built with our partner companies, which means we're basically, we've given ourselves the objective of making our students, obviously get their diploma is the first most important thing, but then obviously I think it's very important that they have good communication skills. So we actually give personality development programs, and for them being able to be operational as soon as possible, because today when a company will give you a contract and you can work for them, they want you to be operational immediately. One of the other benefits of coming to Aura International is that we really do look after our students. You're not just going to be told you start next Monday at 8:45 and that's it. We will look after them from the minute they walk into France and they arrive in France, collecting them from the airport, taking them and offering them accommodation through ourselves. So all of this is a package, a global package. Obviously the level of education and the level of teaching is also very important. So more than 70% of our teachers are of PhD level, and once again bilingual and bicultural.
So what makes Executive MBA different from another MBA specializations?
Okay. An Executive MBA is just that. It's the E for executive. It means that somebody that already has more than 3 years working experience can do their MBA in a shorter period of time, in 15 months, as opposed to a 2-year course. Now, the reason for that is because they already have some experience, some working experience. So we can't treat these students as if they've never worked before, they have no idea. So that's the biggest difference between the two. You have to have had a minimum of 3 years working experience.
Okay, sir, thank you. It was nice talking with Mr. Darren, the President of Aura International School of Management. So I think we have completed all your queries which you were asked to us. So I think, I hope it was really helpful in your group. Thank you.